You're not stuck because you're poor. You're stuck because you're undisciplined. And nobody wants to hear that. It's easier to blame the government, blame your boss, blame your childhood, blame the economy, blame the rich, blame the timing, blame everything except the one thing you actually control: your habits. You're not broke because you lack opportunity. You're broke because you keep escaping responsibility. You keep buying dopamine instead of buying discipline. You keep wasting time instead of building skill. You keep waiting for luck while successful people are building routines, stacking habits, and multiplying small decisions into massive outcomes. Let me make this clear: poverty isn't always financial. The deeper poverty is in the mind. And if you're still operating with a poor mindset, no amount of money will save you. Because money doesn't fix undisciplined behavior. It magnifies it. Give an undisciplined person $1 million, they'll lose it in a year. Give a disciplined person a single idea, they'll multiply it into a fortune. You don't need more comfort. You need more clarity. You don't need a second chance. You need a second standard. Stop calling yourself unlucky when you haven't shown up with full commitment. You say you want more, but you keep sleeping in. You say you want freedom, but you keep spending like a slave. You say you want success, but you keep breaking promises to yourself. And success does not negotiate with your excuses. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your standards. And right now, your standards are soft. You're disciplined when it's convenient. You show up when you feel like it. You follow through when you're motivated. But greatness isn't built on motivation, it's built on consistency. Nobody cares how you feel. The market rewards what you finish. You're not being tested by the world. You're being exposed by your own lack of structure. By your own refusal to own your mornings. By your addiction to distraction. By your loyalty to comfort. You scroll for 3 hours, but say you have no time. You order Uber Eats 5 times a week, but say you're broke. You binge Netflix, but say you can't focus. You want the life, but not the process. You want the result, but not the repetition. Listen to me. Poverty begins where discipline ends. Every wasted hour, every broken promise, every skipped commitment is a brick in the wall between you and the life you say you want. Discipline is not punishment. It's permission. Permission to rise. To expand. To earn what you've never had. Becoming what you've never been. Nobody is coming to save you. There's no rescue mission. The only one who can rescue you from your current reality is the version of you willing to become unrecognizable, the person you've been. That's the truth they don't teach in school. Discipline is the great separator. It separates the winners from the wishers. The earners from the complainers. The builders from the bystanders. And here's the reality: you will feel pain either way. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. But only one of them pays you back. Discipline looks like waking up when no one's watching. It looks like saying no to quick pleasure in favor of long-term peace. It looks like choosing growth over gossip, strategy over sympathy. Vision over victimhood. Stop thinking poor is a condition. It's not. It's a pattern. And if you wanted to break it, you have to stop negotiating with your lower self. You have to stop reasoning with your excuses. You have to stop waiting for motivation to carry you. It won't. You think rich people are smarter. No, they're just more consistent. They're boring. They repeat. They follow process. They say no more often than they say yes. Discipline is freedom disguised as restriction. You think discipline cages you, but in truth it's the key that unlocks your next level. The undisciplined person is always a slave to cravings, a slave to feelings, a slave to distraction, a slave to the short term. But the disciplined man or woman, they are free to build, free to scale, free to choose their response instead of reacting from impulse. And in this world, impulse is poverty, because every platform is designed to seduce you, to keep you soft. To keep you scrolling. To keep you broke. But discipline makes you dangerous. Discipline turns a man into a force. Discipline turns a woman into a weapon. Not violent, not reactive, but razor-focused. Resilient. Relentless. And you don't get that from hoping. You get that from choosing. You get that from drawing the line, from looking at the life you've tolerated and deciding it ends here. That comfort dies today. That distraction gets cut off. That the identity of I'm trying gets replaced with I'm committed. Because trying is a weak word. It gives you an exit. It gives you a back door. It gives you a way out. Commitment is clean. It says, this gets done regardless. And when you start living like that, life responds. Not instantly, but inevitably. You want to talk about money? Let's talk. Because money doesn't come to those who want it, it comes to those who respect it. And respecting money starts with respecting yourself. Not just how you speak, but how you act when no one's watching. How you spend when you're emotional. How you invest when you're uncertain. How you treat your time, because your time is your wealth. If you're undisciplined with time, you'll be undisciplined with money. And if you're undisciplined with money, you'll always be someone else's leverage. You'll stay on the clock. You'll keep chasing the next payment. You'll keep playing defense instead of building offense. Poor people manage money emotionally. They spend for relief. They buy to escape. They invest with desperation. They save with fear. They wait for luck. And then wonder why wealth feels like a lottery ticket. Rich people manage money strategically. They save for opportunity, not survival. They spend to multiply, not to cope. They invest because they understand the game, not because they hope the market saves them. And the difference isn't in knowledge. It's in mindset. It's in discipline. Discipline with your thoughts. Discipline with your words. Discipline with your state. Because state is everything. The state you're in when you make decisions determines the results you live with. For the next decade, you think poor decisions come from lack of information. Wrong. They come from lack of emotional regulation. Angry, you'll overspend. Sad, you'll quit. Overwhelmed, you'll freeze. Insecure, you'll say yes when you should have said no. Triggered, you'll burn bridges you needed to build. Tired, you'll settle for comfort instead of choosing clarity. That's why discipline isn't just about money, it's about mastery. You want to get rich? Master your emotional state. Learn to stay steady when most people spiral. Learn to respond when most people react. Learn to move with logic when everyone else is drowning in chaos. Because discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being predictable. To yourself, to your calendar. To your vision. It's about knowing, when I say I'm going to do something, my future self can trust me. That is wealth. That is freedom. That is power. The power of follow through. The power of consistency. The power of identity. Because identity is the true economy. You will never outperform the person you believe you are. If you still believe you're lazy, you'll keep finding ways to prove it. If you still believe you're not ready, you'll sabotage every opportunity that shows up. If you still believe you're just not good with money, you'll unconsciously ensure that remains true. That's why the undisciplined mind stays poor. It reinforces the same story with the same habits in a different year. New calendar. Same chaos. New goal. Same excuses. New opportunity. Same fears. And you call it your season. But really, it's your cycle. You don't need another season. You need a breakthrough. And breakthroughs don't come through chance. They come through choice. The choice to look in the mirror and say, I am the reason, and I will become the reason it changes. Not your family, not your boss. Not your partner, not the system. You. Because when you decide to lead your life instead of explain it, you tap into something. Nobody can give you certainty. Not confidence. Confidence comes and goes. Certainty is different. Certainty is trained. Certainty is earned through action. Through showing up on the days you don't want to. Through saying no to what no longer serves your future. Through getting radically honest about what needs to defer the next version of you. To come alive. Because that next version, they don't beg for motivation. They build it. They don't chase opportunities. They create them. They don't fear success. They prepare for it. And preparation is discipline. Discipline is making decisions today that your future self will thank you for. It's rejecting short-term comfort in exchange for long-term certainty. It's the ability to sit in discomfort without quitting. To delay gratification without resentment. To execute the plan without emotional drama. Because discipline isn't about what you feel. It's about what you do despite how you feel. And in a world obsessed with feelings, discipline makes you unstoppable. Because feelings change. Circumstances change. People change. But principles, those don't change. And if you live by principles, you become someone that nothing and no one can destabilize. That's what poor people don't understand. They want freedom without discipline. Success without systems, peace without process. But those things only come after the internal war is won. And you don't win the war with willpower alone. You win it by changing your identity. You become someone who sees discomfort and doesn't flinch. Someone who sees temptation and doesn't fold. Someone who sees delay and doesn't panic. Someone who keeps showing up, not for applause, but because showing up is who they are. You're not poor. You're underdeveloped. You're undisciplined. You've been lied to, told that mindset is fluff, that habits are boring, that success is about luck. But here's the real truth. Discipline is the lever. It's the multiplier. It's the daily, gritty, unsexy repetition that separates fantasy from freedom. And once you embrace that, you'll never look at your life the same way again. Look around you. Everything in your life right now, your money, your body, your habits, your energy, it's not a reflection of your potential. It's a reflection of your standards. And standards are enforced or ignored by discipline. You want to know why you're still stuck? Because you've made peace with mediocrity. You've normalized failure by calling it just life. You've gotten comfortable with underperforming. As long as you're busy. But busy isn't progress. Busy is what undisciplined people call productivity. They wake up late, rush through the day, check emails, doom scroll, fight fires, reply to drama, and at the end of the day, they're exhausted, but unchanged. Why? Because energy spent without direction is just chaos with a calendar. Discipline gives your energy aim. And when you start aiming your energy with precision, you stop being busy and start becoming dangerous. Because discipline forces clarity. It makes you ask, what am I building? Who am I becoming? Is what I'm doing today aligned with the future I say I want? Most people never ask these questions. They chase money without a mission. They chase success without standards. They wake up reacting instead of commanding. And then they wonder why life feels heavy. It's heavy because you're dragging around expectations without execution. It's heavy because you keep thinking the dream is enough. It's not. The dream is free. The discipline is where you pay. Let's talk about time. Because if you're undisciplined with your time, you're already broke whether or not. You've got dollars in your account. Time is wealth. And every moment you spend unconscious, distracted, disorganized, you're giving away your most precious resource for nothing. Time doesn't come back. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Not when your motivation magically returns. This is it. And the way you spend today is the clearest forecast of your future wealth. You don't have a money problem. You have a time problem. You spend your minutes on comfort and wonder why your life is built on chaos. And it's not just the scrolling. It's not just the Netflix. It's the lack of intentional structure. Do you even know how your morning begins? Do you know what you'll attack first tomorrow? Do you guard your focus like your life depends on it? Because guess what? It does. Successful people don't have more hours in the day. They just treat each hour like a soldier in their mission. Disciplined, directed, delivered with purpose. You have the same access, you just keep leaking energy through indecision. Indecision is the tax undisciplined people pay every single day. You don't know what to do first, so you do what's easiest. You avoid the deep work, so you drown in busy work. You procrastinate on what matters most, and then panic when your life doesn't move forward. But you're not behind because you're incapable. You're behind because you haven't decided to lead your time with conviction. That's what discipline is, the conviction to execute your values even when your feelings scream for distraction. And once you master that, you stop living on the defensive. You stop being surprised by your own results. You stop wondering, what happened to the year? Because you commanded it. Let's talk about money again. Because if you're undisciplined with time, money will always avoid you. And if it does find you, you'll lose it. Money flows to clarity. Money follows structure. Money is attracted to those who are already ready for it. You think you need more income. But income without intention is a liability. You'll burn it. You'll flex it. You'll spend it to soothe your wounds. Because money doesn't fix your discipline. It reveals it. That's why so many lottery winners go broke. That's why new entrepreneurs crash their business. That's why high performers still self-destruct. Because wealth without discipline is a ticking bomb. But when you pair discipline with vision, you become unstoppable. You don't just earn. You keep. You multiply. You reinvest. You build. You design your financial reality from intention, not insecurity. You start asking different questions. How do I grow this? Where does this dollar go next? What systems support my long-term wealth? And suddenly, you stop chasing the next payday. You start building something permanent. But here's the truth, you will never build anything permanent with a temporary mindset. And that's what undisciplined people don't understand. They think change is an event. It's not. It's a lifestyle. They think success is about effort. It's not. It's about identity. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your rituals. You return to what is familiar. So if you've spent years identifying as broke, overwhelmed, inconsistent, then no strategy, no coach, no book will change your life until you change who you think you are. Your thoughts create patterns. Patterns create behaviors. Behaviors create identity. Identity shapes destiny. And the only way to change identity is through disciplined action. Repetition. Relentless. Quiet. Consistent. Daily follow through on the things that build character. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what breaks the cycle. That's what separates you from the crowd and forges the person who doesn't wait for opportunity but commands it. So today's the line, right here. Right now. You've heard enough. You've studied enough. You've visualized enough. Now it's time to decide. Not wish. Decide. That from this moment forward, you are no longer negotiating with weakness. You are no longer comforting your excuses. You are no longer treating your potential like a casual hobby. From today, discipline becomes your identity. Clarity becomes your compass. Standards become your strategy. You'll show up differently. You'll speak differently. You'll walk into rooms with the weight of a person. Woe is no longer hiding behind what ifs, but living in what's next, because you don't need a better plan. You need a better standard. And the moment you raise your standard, your entire life will rise to meet it. This is the moment, right here. Not some future version of you. Not when you feel ready. Not after another podcast or self-help book. This moment is the one where it all shifts. Because discipline isn't something you find. It's something you become. It's not a habit. It's an identity, a declaration, a line in the sand that says, no more average, no more softness, no more negotiation with weakness. You're not tired. You're uninspired. You're not lost. You're distracted. You're not broken. You're undisciplined. But that can change instantly when you decide. The truth is this, you've had the ability the entire time. What you've lacked is conviction. What you've lacked is commitment to the part of you that already knows how to win. Because there's a version of you buried under layers of excuses, comfort, and distraction who wakes up with fire, who doesn't skip days, who doesn't procrastinate, who doesn't shrink when life pushes back. That version of you is not a fantasy. It's not some motivational ideal. It's your default setting, but it's been silenced by comfort. Comfort has been robbing you. Softness has been seducing you. And poverty, mental, emotional, financial, has been the price you pay. But you can end it today. Right now. Not with a dream. Not with hype. But with a decision. A decision to lead yourself. To become the kind of person you would follow. The kind of person your future family will be proud of. The kind of person that turns pain into power, discomfort into clarity, and obstacles into muscle. You don't need more information. You need standards that punch you in the face every time you forget who you are. Let me remind you, you are not average. You are not fragile. You are not behind. You are capable beyond belief. But belief without discipline is noise, and you were not born for noise. You were born for impact. But impact only comes when you stop waiting to feel like it and start moving. Because that's who you've chosen to become. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to demand everything from you. Because everything you want, the money, the freedom, the peace, the legacy, is on the other side of everything you've been avoiding. Avoiding the early wake-up. Avoiding the difficult conversations. Avoiding the consistency. Avoiding the silence where truth speaks loudest. You've trained yourself to stay in the loop. To hit a ceiling and freeze. To start strong and fade fast. To get close, then sabotage. To make excuses sound noble. But none of that builds wealth. None of that builds freedom. None of that builds the future you see in your dreams when your head hits the pillow. What builds it? Discipline. Relentless. Uncompromising. Self-enforced standards so high they make your past version of yourself look like a stranger. And that version of you, the one who lives by discipline, they don't wait. They command. They don't wish. They build. Hey, don't apologize for wanting more. They become more. Because they've learned what you're learning now. Poverty isn't lack of money. It's lack of clarity, lack of structure, lack of follow-through, lack of internal rules that govern external outcomes. Richness starts when you tell the truth. I am not showing up like someone who deserves the life I say I want. And then you do something about it. You stop hitting snooze on your vision. You stop escaping with food, with scrolling, with excuses. You stop buying things you didn't earn with energy you don't own. You stop outsourcing your success to timing, mentors, algorithms, or miracles, and you bring it back home to you. Because you are the system. You are the strategy. You are the secret weapon. Discipline just reveals the part of you that was built for this, the part that leads when others quit, the part that keeps showing up when the feelings fade, the part that doesn't need perfect conditions. Because you've become a conditioned force of nature. That's what discipline turns you into. A weapon against mediocrity. A builder of empires, a leader of self and others, a human who doesn't have to scream to prove power because your actions speak for you. When the alarms go off, you rise. When the world sleeps, you train. When others flinch, you breathe. When the mind resists, you command. And the life you want, it bows to that version of you. It doesn't bow to your feelings. It doesn't bow to your past. It doesn't care what happened yesterday. It cares what you do today. So here's your call. Not just to improve, not just to change, but to evolve. Evolve. From reactive to relentless. From victim to visionary. From drifter to disciplined. You are not poor. You are not powerless. You are not lost. You are simply one standard away from becoming a new force on this planet. So raise the standard. Raise the bar. Raise yourself. And then never go back. Burn the excuses. Bury the past. Build the future. Because once you taste what it's like to live in full alignment with your highest self, nothing else will ever be enough. That's what discipline gives you. And that is how you become free.